I'm so happy to welcome all of you this morning to our 18th annual Diversity First Awards Summit. 18 years. And this is the first time we are back after the 2-year hiatus with the pandemic. I would like to begin by introducing myself. My name is Angeles Valenciano, and I have the honor of serving as CEO of the National Diversity Council and the Global Diversity Council as well. This is such an important moment for all of us to be together. I am so proud of the work that my team continues to do. So I would like to begin by first thanking my team who has traveled to be here and who has worked for the last couple of months in getting all of this ready for all of you. So will you join me in please recognizing my team, Rody, Kelsey, Luis, Haley, Kamaria. Thank you, team, for doing such a wonderful, wonderful job. I also would like to take this moment to thank all of the individuals that are serving us today. They were here so early in the morning preparing this delicious meal and having everything ready. So to the staff, thank you so much for serving us. Mil gracias por servirnos esta mañana. Tan agradecidos. We are so grateful. And of course, all of you for coming, for joining us this morning. We have such a wonderful program lined up for all of you. And on behalf of our founder and chairman, Dennis Kennedy, I want to welcome our board of directors who are joining us at different tables. They are the engine that drive the organization forward. Something that began in San Antonio in 2004 is now a national organization. And we are so proud every time that we get to open up a new chapter in a different state. And the first thing I say is, soy de San Antonio. We started in San Antonio. They say, really, Angeles? You started a diversity council in Texas, in San Antonio? And I say, yes. That's where it all began. I want to take this opportunity also to thank our best practices presenters from this morning. Mi hermanito, Rogelio Sainz. Where are you, Rogelio? Thank you so much for doing the session this morning. It was wonderful. Thank you. It was a full room. And I also would like to thank Cindy Watson with the San Antonio Lighthouse for the Blind as we are celebrating National Disability Awareness Month. It was so wonderful to have them joining us for the second best practice session of the morning. So Cindy, thank you so much, and to the Lighthouse, thank you for all of the work that you are doing. We are so grateful. I also would like to thank all of our partners, all of the organizations that you see here today, our corporate partners, and they are committed to the work of diversity, equity, and inclusion. We would not be able to do the work that we do as a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization without the generous financial support that we receive from all of them. So please join me as I thank all of our sponsors today. Toyota, St. Philip's College, UTSA, UT Health San Antonio, BD, and of course, Judge Peter Sakai, who is not able to join us this morning, but he was so sweet and kind to send me a text message and say, Angeles, te mando mi corazón. So there's his corazón over there. She is sitting right there. And I want to brag for a little bit. This year, the National Diversity Council has reached many, many milestones. This year, we reached over 2 million participants in our Women in Leadership Symposium, which has been hosted in over 100 cities around the country and nationwide. What a wonderful story to tell. The first one was in San Antonio in 2004. So surpassing the 2 million mark means so much to all of us and the work that we continue to do every day. Our executive certification program, our CDP program led by the brilliant Dr. Cecilia Orellana Rojas, is now ranked as one of the top 5 certification programs in the country. Top 5. And we have graduated over 1,000 new diversity leaders who have gone back to corporate America to implement this skill set. Cecilia, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for everything that you do. We continue to create spaces for our LGBTQ+ community in the summits. We hosted them across the country. We even had the wonderful fortune of taking the first one to Ciudad de Mexico. Our beloved Honorable Judge Rosie Speedling Gonzalez was our keynote speaker there. So Ciudad de Mexico was one of the hosts internationally of our LGBTQ summit, and it was a huge success. We have expanded our advocacy around disability inclusion, and this being the month, I am so proud. This is something so dear to my heart and so important in the work that we do every day. And so I have to say this in a way that it is firm and that leaves no doubt to any organization. If disability inclusion is not part of your diversity equation, you are not doing it right. You're not. Disability has to be part of that equation. Let's do this. Let's get it done. We also established our Black Men in Leadership Conference in Michigan. As a matter of fact, our esteemed keynote, Dr. Dyson, was the first one to kick us off at our Michigan Diversity Council last year. Dr. Dyson, you killed it. It was amazing. It was awesome. That's when we knew we had to bring him here to San Antonio. We also had a very wonderful and successful conference that broke record attendance. Our National Latino Leadership Conference in Miami was incredible. And so grateful to our First Lady, Erika. Thank you so much for always amplifying my voice and supporting the work that I do for our Latino community. Latinas are leaders. We are leaders. We did it. And as we prepare to host the Native American Summit in Arizona in a couple of weeks, we will finish and complete a record year as I travel with my team for the last event of the year. We are headed to Dubai, where we will host the last Women in Leadership Symposium. This is the second year in a row that we travel to Dubai. And it is so important that as we travel around the world, and we talk about the beauty of our diversity and our city and the people that surround our city and that make it this wonderful place to live. That is the reason why we are here today, recognizing them and honoring them. Diversity is now every day. What is intentional is the inclusion of our efforts and what we have to do to get it right. So I'm so proud of all of the awardees that are joining us today because they are truly committed to this work every day. It's intentional. They wake up every morning and as they get ready for their day, they know that that will be part of the impact that they have. Our Tri-State Diversity Council had our global AAPI conference, also very successful. I want to thank my team in Tri-State, Alexis, and everyone there who hosted an incredible gathering of our AAPI community. And yet we have so much work to do, and we will continue to do it. I am so committed to the work that the National, and now under my leadership, Global Diversity Council will do. It is so important that we understand the value. I would be remiss to not take a moment to just say a few words. Today marks the 1-year anniversary of our beloved General Colin Powell. General Powell was probably the first keynote that we hosted in Dallas when we first launched the organization. He was a mentor to me. He was a leader to all of us. He was always ready whenever we called to say, yes, I want to join you. If it was in Pittsburgh, if it was in New York, if it was in Chicago, wherever we opened up a council, he would be our first speaker. He brought credibility to our organization, but he brought more than that to Dennis and to myself. He brought the desire to work, as he would say, with purpose every day. My job is with purpose. And the impact that we create is because of people like him. So today, as we welcome another extraordinary leader to join us and to speak to us, I know that wherever General Powell is, he is looking down and he's going to say, Ángeles, bien hecho. Ángeles, well done. Thank you so much also to the people that sustain me every day in my personal life. Ever since he was a little boy, I would sit him at the couch. As many of you know, my first language is Spanish, so I learned English as an adult. That's the accent you hear. Not as sexy as Sofia Vergara's, but it's still there. It's still there. And so my three sons would laugh and they would smile, but that's the way I would practice my speeches. So he's been listening to me, create these speeches and speak to them. And if you will, today I just want to honor my son Diego, who is joining me. Thank you, amor, por estar aquí. Thank you, Diego, for being here. He is with St. Mary's University, and one of his classes is on race and racism. So when he called me and he said, Mom, really? The Dr. Michael Eric Dyson? And I said, yes, son, the Dr. Dyson. And he says, Mom, I will be there. So I want to think he's here for me, but that's the real reason why he's there. So grateful to have Mrs. Kennedy, Dennis's mom, joining us every year. She doesn't miss the opportunity to be with us. Thank you, Mrs. Kennedy, for your love, unconditional support. With that, I am so happy to introduce to you Mark Juarez with Toyota, who will be providing remarks for Toyota as a title sponsor. Mark, please join me.
Okay, good morning. As someone mentioned earlier, and I'll use the line, I'm from the 19th century, so I need some glasses and I need a little bit of notes here, so bear with me. But really, it's my pleasure to be with you today. As I mentioned, I'm Mark Juarez. I am a group manager of the Assembly Division for Toyota, Texas. I am one of the first homegrown that came up. So it's really an honor for me to be here. We're honored to sponsor the 2022 San Antonio Diversity First Award. As a recognized leader in diversity and inclusion, Toyota is committed to cultivating a culture that reflects, empowers, and respects the diversity of our employees. Believing a more diverse and inclusive workplace drives innovation and relevancy. Diversity and inclusion is a vital part of Toyota's commitment to respect for people. We strive to create a safe and inclusive environment for our employees to learn, grow, and be their unique self. One of our biggest assets for employees to further develop diversity and inclusion in the workplace is our big business partnering groups. Also, we call it BPGs. BPGs were created to help build inclusion and foster personal development. They are employee-driven networks based on special characteristics and life experiences. These volunteer organizations work to support business objectives as well as strengthen the collection of innovative ideas and voices that represent the future of Toyota. At Toyota, Texas, we're proud of our BPG members who spend time out in the San Antonio area. In fact, you may have seen some of them out volunteering, working alongside our community partners. For example, Spectrum LGBTQ+ recently sponsored the Pride River Parade. It was a beautiful day and the turnout was great for that outing. Or maybe you saw our Toyota Ability members volunteer at the Special Olympic Summer Games. Perhaps you even saw women influencing and impacting Toyota provide cancer patients support baskets. We also show up in big numbers every year for the annual Martin Luther King Jr. March every January. These are just a few of the BPGs here locally, but the list goes on. These BPGs are part of a larger network of national groups from throughout the company And we want to show our community we are inclusive and that we are an ally. Recently, the job market across industries has evolved. Employees are increasingly seeking not only meaningful work, but also a company culture that meets their values. As a company, Toyota's commitment to equality and inclusivity for all people helps to create an environment where employees feel a sense of belonging and mutual respect. On behalf of the 3,800 Toyota employees of Toyota, Texas, we are proud to help bring you all together here today in the name of equity and inclusion. You have heard from wonderful panelists, and soon you will hear from an inspiring keynote speaker. I encourage you to take time to think about how their experiences and best practices can be applied to your everyday life, inside and outside of the workplace. So together we will go places. So thank you very much for the time, and I'd like to introduce back Angeles. Thank you very much.
All right. In the interest of time, and because I know we have a booklet that all of you will have his bio to know and to read on his recognition and his extraordinary accomplishments, I would like to call to the stage my dear friend and your dear friend, Chris here. Chris, decorated veteran, father, son, and our community knows him so well. I just call him friend.
If everyone can please stand. Room, attention. I have you stand today because we are in Military City, USA. And the military and our veterans are a key essential part of the diversity equation. As Angeles has even mentioned about General Colin Powell. When I was a second lieutenant, he mentored me. And so I know that today is very special. You may be seated. I do want you to know that diversity, equity, and diversity, equity, and inclusion are essential to the military and to the nation's readiness. When we have diversity, equity, and inclusion right, we are the leaders of the world. And when we fail to set the standard for the world. And so I'm so proud to be here today. I want you all also to note that you do have programs. And so in front of you in the very center, you will see a code doohickey. So go ahead and take a picture of it so you can have your running program for today. That's so important, so you can track what we're doing. So today is going to be really, really, really great. We're going to present our Diversity First Awards. We're also going to have a great keynote from Dr. Michael Eric Dyson, and we're also going to have a question and answer. So you should also see in front of you some index cards of sort, or if not, they'll be passed out, but you'll be able to jot down your questions. At the same time, I'm going to say this today, when I put you at attention, that means that you're going to be focused, you're going to listen, and you're going to be attentive, and you're going to see. So you may be asked questions yourself. I can't imagine that Professor Dyson would allow the audience to get clean without being asked questions about what he may be talking about. So please pay attention. Also, I want you to know that this is very important. I'm giving you a direct order. Yes, I am. I can do that. I'm a retired officer. So I want you to tweet, and you're going to tweet at TX Diversity. TX Diversity. And that's what you're going to tweet today. And I also want you to make sure that you follow the event hashtags that we're using. The first hashtag is hashtag Diversity Champions. That's who you are. Hashtag Award Diversity. And then I also want you to share your photos that you've taken thus far because we want to send a message across the world that diversity, equity, and inclusion is so important. So let's see, I think I've covered everything with the instructions. All right. So right now it's my honor to introduce our award presentations. The award presentations include recognizing inclusive servant leadership throughout the greater San Antonio area. And we're going to jump in with the celebration. The Diversity First Leadership Awards reflects efforts and achievements in the field of diversity and inclusion by individuals, businesses, corporations, community groups, or nonprofit organizations. The efforts and achievements of award winners must demonstrate a visible, tangible, or measurable impact on the perception of, attitude toward, and respect for a truly inclusive environment where individuals are valued for their talent and able to reach their full potential. So now let's meet our 2022 award winners. And we're gonna first start with the Individual Diversity First Awards. While I transition, so this is going to be a celebratory occasion, okay? And so one of the tasks that Angeles has asked me, she said, make sure that the people are happy. So if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Do all three. Do all three. What? Diversity, equity, inclusion. Come on, stay with me. All right. So the first, well, let me describe what the award is. So Diversity First Leadership Award. The Texas Diversity Council's Diversity First Leadership Award is awarded annually to individuals who demonstrate outstanding accomplishments in the promotion and advancement of diversity through inclusion and strong leadership. Leadership qualities should include the following: a track record of balanced decision-making and an appreciation for multiple perspectives, a breadth of perspectives, a range of experiences that reflect flexibility and the ability to transcend narrow experiences and issues, a demonstrated ability to value and respect diverse points of view and varied ways to approach issues and topics. Earning this award is evidence of the individual's level of commitment to effectively valuing and managing diversity to achieve excellence and make a positive difference in their organizations and communities. So the first recipients will be a couple, and it will be the mayor of San Antonio, Ron Nirenberg, and his wife, Erica. And as So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what went into this perspective of this diversity award. For the mayor, he's been mayor for the last 6 years, and hopefully for the next 2. And Mayor Ron believes in equity, diversity, equity, and inclusion. I have to say that for Ron, tenacity to dream big for the city and patience to see those dreams come true is really what he looks at every single day. And for his wife, a resilience to face, manage, and thrive in the unknown, and a good earthly sense of humor. Now, if you know Erica, you know that's true. And I also think that she has a great best-selling book right there, Thriving in the Unknown. We can do this. The mayor also believes that equity is no longer a pipe dream, that we have to be able to diagnose and define root causes. We also have to have solutions that are driven by a focus. And he also said that we aim towards reducing the inequality gaps built over time. That's one of his big dreams. So we're very happy today that the mayor was able to be the recipient of this award. And then also, let me share, Erica is the Senior Director of Customer Insights at HEB. And if you know HEB, that's my HEB. And let me just tell you something. So in Dallas, we just opened up like 2 HEBs. Yeah. I have never seen so many people wrapped around waiting to go into HEB. It was like some sort of Texas fair, like the amusement ride was HEB, and I was like, go figure. But anyway, she has really been a leader, not only at HEB, but just within the overall community. I know that she has had a great influence over the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce when she chaired that organization. She's also developed quite a bit of work working with Latina women in empowerment, and I can keep going on and on and on. But I just want to say that the mayor and the first lady, they're repping diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I'm so honored to be here to be able to say congratulations to you again. Let's give them a round of applause. All right. The next person who I have the honor of being able to recognize is Judge Peter Sakai. Accepting on behalf of Judge Peter Sakai is his wife, Rachel. Now, the judge was asked to talk about himself a little bit in a questionnaire, and as you may know, that he stepped down as the state judge of the 225th District Court in Bexar County. And after serving for 15 years, he's currently the Democratic nominee for the position of Bexar County Judge. He believes what's really important to success is having a strong work ethic, integrity, and being an innovator. He believes that bringing people together to identify and solve problems is the key to success. And so again, this is so important because we've seen the judge over time, and he's been very consistent in all of his elections and his re-elections, and the people have been behind him because of his passion for people. He's passionate about the infrastructure of our community. He's passionate for children and families. And he said in his words, if we take care of our families, our community's economy and educational attainment and public safety and so many other interrelated issues will improve. So again, we want to thank Rachel for accepting the award on behalf of Judge Peter Sakai. Let's give him a round of applause. The next recipient of the Diversity First Leadership Award is Carla Wright. Carla Wright is the Vice President, Administration and Production Control for Toyota Manufacturing North America. Now, so her current organizational role, she's also the Regional Diversity Champion, Ethics and Compliance Champion, Executive Sponsor of Young Professional Business Partnering Group, and Supplier Diversity Champion. When she talks about what defines success, she says, understanding that being uncomfortable was the key to growth. Dedication to being a lifelong learner and willing to take risks were very pivotal in navigating her career. She's very passionate about her career and her life, and she's passionate by coaching and developing others to reach their fullest potential. She gives back to the community by supporting financial literacy, and that's really my heart right there. As the Global Chamber San Antonio Executive Director, I say go Carla, go. Yeah. Thank you so much, Toyota and Ms. Wright, for your well-deserved award. Our next award recipient is a great friend. He's the Commissioner, Precinct 4 in Bexar County. and that is Commissioner Tommy Calvert. Now, if I go through the commissioner's bio, we would be here probably until tomorrow. But I will say that I'm very proud to know that Tommy has been an honorary commander at Randolph Air Force Base where I retired, and he learned about that military readiness that I talked about. And if anything, I want you to remember too that in his current role, he is almost like a governor where he oversees 12 cities in areas that are not in the city. He is in charge of homeland security, emergencies, the justice system, the healthcare system, mental health care system, economic development, public infrastructure, elections, agriculture, extensions programs, parks, county venues. There's so much that goes into being a county commissioner. And as he looks at his life and he attributes his success, he says that putting himself in other people's shoes is so important to create a community where everyone is respected. He also believes that following the golden rule is important to moving our community forward. He also believes that being a hard worker, collaborating with partners, makes him a success. And we would agree that these are the attributes of what defines and makes us successful. So congratulations, Commissioner Calvert, for this award today. And also I would say that your family has also been diversity champions who you've modeled over the years that I've had a great opportunity to be mentored by myself. So I say congratulations, my brother. All right, so now we're going to segue into the program, and I think we're doing good on time. The Corporate Diversity First Award recognition. And so it's my pleasure to introduce and recognize our Corporate 2022 Diversity First Leadership Awardees. This prestigious award will be presented to a business, corporation, or an organization that has, one, developed and implemented an effective equal opportunity program, or an initiative as demonstrated by a diversified workforce in which all persons are afforded opportunities for employment and upward mobility, regardless of race, ethnic origin, gender, religion, age, sexual orientation, disability, or any other prohibited basis of discrimination. They will also exhibit visionary and insightful leadership to confront and resolve inequities through strategic decision-making, allocation of resources, and establishment of priorities. They will also have enhanced the community quality of life for the improvement of equal opportunity and for the provision of greater access to government and government services by multiracial and multicultural populations, and increase citizen participation in government or community activities by all segments of the community. And there's three more other important facets of the award. And I'm going to now present the first recipient. The first recipient is the UT Health San Antonio. Accepting the award today is Dr. Shakita Collins. She's the Chief Diversity Officer at UT Health San Antonio, and she has worked to advance diversity and inclusion efforts in order to further define, assess, and promote diversity and inclusive excellence, cultural competency, proficiency, health equity across the UT Health San Antonio. Dr. Collins was instrumental in the university's first campus-wide diversity climate survey. She launched a monthly lecture series that included distinguished physicians and scholars from diverse backgrounds from across the country, and partnered closely with San Antonio ISD in the establishing Cass Med High School, intended for diverse socioeconomically disadvantaged students. So we thank you, Dr. Collins, and we thank UT Health San Antonio. Congratulations. Now going back to the other pillars of this award, I just wanted to split it up because there were 6. And we're doing good on time. Another criteria of the Diversity First Corporate Leadership Award is a demonstrated a consistent pattern of organizational commitment to recruitment and retention of individuals of underrepresented populations. That's important. Cultivated and promoted or promotes diversity initiatives that establish and foster a more inclusive and equitable work and learning environment. And lastly, but not least, demonstrated continued corporate responsibility by devoting resources for the improvement of the community at large. That's all of us. All right. The next recipient of this Diversity Force Award is CPS Energy. Accepting the award for CPS Energy is Lisa Lewis, the Chief Administrative Officer. So at CPS Energy, we focus on 3 pillars of our diversity, equity, and inclusion. First, the diversity of our workforce. And the workforce is so important to our CPS Energy. Lisa Lewis joined CPS Energy in 2000 and has worked in a variety of roles, serving as Vice President of People and Culture from 2015 through 2020. At that time, she fostered the growth of CPS Energy's Employee Resources Group, built wellness strategies for our workforce, and realigned the team to be strategic partners to operations. From 2012 to 2015, she served as Vice President of the Corporate Communications and Corporate Responsibility. She remains an advocate for workforce development and serves on the board for San Antonio's Cass Schools, Career-Focused Education. She also serves on the board of the Alamo Area Council of Governments. Congratulations again to CPS Energy. Thank you. At this time, it is my honor to introduce our keynote speaker for today's event, Dr. Michael Eric Dyson. And as I go through his biography, I want you guys to get yourself ready to be able to celebrate and really to put your hands together. So I want you to just be prepared. I know you have your forks and your spoons, but we're gonna get ready for this. All right. Michael Eric Dyson is one of the nation's most renowned professors, gifted writers, inspirational preachers, knowledgeable lecturers, and prominent media personalities. As a teacher who earned a PhD in religion from Princeton University, Dyson has taught at some of the nation's most distinguished universities, including Brown, UNC Chapel Hill, Columbia, DePaul, the University of Pennsylvania, and Georgetown University. He is presently Distinguished University Professor of African Americans and Diaspora Studies, College of Arts and Science, and the Distinguished University Professor of Ethics and Society, the Divinity School, and Centennial Professor at Vanderbilt University. Dyson is one of America's premier public intellectuals and author of over 20 books, including 7 New York Times bestsellers, and is a political analyst for MSNBC. I know you've seen him on that. I know you've seen him. That man be on fire, on fire, on fire. And he has won 2 NAACP Image Awards and an American Book Author Award, and last year was awarded the Langston Hughes Medal. And as a preacher and sometimes pastor for more than 40 years, Dyson has mounted many of the nation's most noted pulpits to deliver sermons, including most recently the Washington National Cathedral, where Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his last Sunday sermon. Dyson has lectured across the country and around the world. in many of the best colleges and universities, and in public theaters and auditoriums, and for the many corporations and unions. He has served for the last 30 years as a media commentator and occasionally hosts on every major radio and television show. Right now, the Houdini spirit has come over me. Houdini? Well, if you hear Dr. Dyson, you know that he's so eloquent. No wonder Langston Hughes Award was given to him. But just pause for 1 second. 5 minutes of funk. This ain't no jump. So pull your bottoms off your seat stump. Scoot up, scoot up, scoot up. Ladies, very pretty in San Antonio City. But now we're going to get down to the nitty gritty, from the bottom to the top, top to the bottom. Dr. Michael Eric Dyson's going to rock them while we still got him. He's going to rap and shower in style and power. And this is our diversity hour. Now, I don't know if all of you have heard, but Dr. D, he's going to spread the word because he's the man that we feel that's got to be real. Texas Diversity Council is on the wheel of steel, and you go by the name of Dr. D, and if it's all right with you, Mr. Mayor, it's all right with me. With some help from the audience, if you please. Please put your hands together for the Dr. Michael Eric Dyson.
Thank you so kindly. We'll now have the benediction. I want to thank Brother Herring for dropping that old school hip hop. I know y'all don't know what that is. Stuck on Lil Yachty, Little Uzi Vert, Lil Wayne, Little Baby Mama, Baby. The hell they get these names from? You know, 5 minutes of funk. You know what Houdini, you know what it is. Some Rakim. Y'all don't even know Rakim. Standing by the speaker, suddenly I had a fever. Was it me or either Summer Madness? Because I just can't stand around, so I get closer, and the closer I get, the better it sounds. My mind starts to activate, rhymes collaborate. Because when I heard the beat, I just had to make something from the top of my head. So I fell into the groove of the wax and I said, how can I move the crowd? First of all, ain't no mistakes allowed. That's hip hop. That's hip hop. So I thank Brother Herring for doing the remix on the Houdini. God bless his memory and rest in peace. But of course, to Sister Angeles Valenciano, the great, the majestic, the powerful, the insightful, the magnificent, the magnanimous leader of this incredible organization. Give her love for what she does. And her son, my man Diego, right, representing for the young folk, gave me a nice glass of water. Cecilia's brother. And a tremendous and insightful young man that we're all proud of. Of course, to Mayor Nirenberg and the First Lady, the extraordinary duo who were awarded honors here today. We thank them for their leadership and for their continued devotion to San Antonio. And to one of the first brothers to bring me here to San Antonio, Commissioner Tommy Calvert, right? Now, I knew this brother was cold-blooded the first time I met him. He was always organized, highly personable, deeply intelligent, and committed to his people. So when I hear he's basically the governor over here, I ain't gonna get political, but the governor of Texas, right? No politics, no politics. But let's just say when I get Starburst, I don't choose orange. I'm trying to behave myself. So, trying to get a Whataburger for my reward, right? And drive a Toyota. Because I heard from Commissioner Calvert, they practice for real diversity. Black and brown folk up in the spot representing. That's what we need, right? We drive too. But Commissioner Calvert is one of the most personable, intelligent, and gifted young men I've ever met. I have seen his extraordinary expansion of both opportunity and capacity. And so when he's president one day, don't even be surprised at President Calvert right here from San Antonio. All right? Give him some love. Building hospitals, giving people's jobs, kissing babies, hugging the men and women, showing them love. And that's a beautiful thing. Now let me read this text from Sister Angeles. Let me see, hold on. Get knee deep into them and their chest and make them understand what time it is. Oh, I'm sorry. That was from my people about the Tennessee Titans versus the Dallas Cowboys. You haters. This is Jerry Jones, and I just want to say, glad y'all paid Dak his money. Y'all got a pretty good record right now. Do y'all vote? Do y'all support the Cowboys down here? You sorry human beings. But I'll give love to the Spurs, though. Y'all used to be so great. Timmy, Ginobili, Ray, Parker, Kawhi, but okay, he left. But and of course the great Pop. Always show love to the great Pop. Well, I'm honored to be here. I done wasted half my time. Met so many of the wonderful folk last night. My fellow Lakers fan, where you at, bro? My man, okay. Oh, my man. What's your full name? What's his name? Luis. Me and him, Lakers. You know what I'm saying? Right, we ain't hating on the Spurs. Y'all got 5 chips. Y'all got 5 chips already, but we got about what, 16, 17? Thank you. Represent, all right? 17, you know? All right, Sister Hall, Kelsey, you know, we love you. Houston is all right, but, you know, I don't know what y'all doing over there right now. We'll just celebrate the Breakfast Club and the food they have in Houston, all right? And Port Arthur, Beaumont, you know what I'm saying? Bun B, Pimp C. Man, y'all ain't hip. I thought y'all were ready. I thought y'all was ready, all right? If you're going to have diversity, have some diversity up in your hip-hop profile and play along. I listen to country music, George Strait. All my exes live in Texas. That's why I live in Tennessee. Oh, man. Half the country musicians I love probably would detest me, given my politics, but that's all right. I love your music, right? Lee Greenwood, she had a ring on her finger and time on her hands. That's a hell of a combination, right? Country and the blues are pretty similar, aren't they? If you're going to walk across my lawn, least you could do is take off your shoes. Hey, lady, your husband is cheating on us. Let me get on to the speech, man. Y'all, I ain't fooling with y'all today. But what an honor it is to be here and hang out with y'all, talking to Sister Angeles last night, and and engaging with all of the wonderful folk who are here. It's a real honor to be here. So what I want to do is talk a bit, then we're going to do a Q&A, is that right? So I'll talk, is that right? Yes. Oh, okay, yes, all right. Otherwise, I'm going to take all the time. But I'll talk a bit, say some controversial stuff that'll keep most of you in your jobs still. But let's challenge us, right? Let's just challenge all of us to just be better. And so I want to talk about deep diversity. I want to talk about expansive equity. And I want to talk about intersectional inclusion. Is that cool? Because the great Southern historian C. Van Woodward said a title is a contract between an author, in this case a speaker, and his audience. Are we contracted to talk about that? Is that good with y'all? Right? I'll throw some anti-cowboy stuff in there along the way too. But when I think about where we are as a nation, and I was telling Sister Valenciano last night that I hung out with Colin Powell and Chris Rock before a Janet Jackson concert. Would you like to know? Would you like to know what was going on in that conversation? All I want to tell you, Colin Powell was a brother. That's all I need to tell you up in here. But when I think about where we are as a nation, we need diversity and equity and inclusion now more than ever. But a deep diversity. And that means it ain't just surface. It has to be profound. It has to be committed. Because without diversity, America couldn't even be what America is today. Right? We're standing, what land are we standing on? Should we do a land acknowledgement every day? Indigenous people constituted the core of this culture. So folk who are trying to resist immigrants, where you at, homie? This is a land of immigrants. Some of us forced immigrants, and some of us voluntary. But America is made up of diversity from the get-go. That's what makes us what we are. Look around this room, the diversity of color, the diversity of gender, the diversity of thinking about us as citizens. Deep diversity, then, is about appreciating the incredible, contagious, diverse experiences that constitute us as a nation. And we would have far fewer problems if we could embrace and accept who we are as a diverse people. And so when I think about deep diversity and not surface diversity, that means we got to be committed to it at every level. We talk about high school, we talk about college, we talk about grade school, we speak about elementary, we speak about the beginning in Head Start. Diversity is a good practice and principle from the communities from which we emerge into the nation that we inhabit as citizens. So diversity is always a good thing to have. But a deep commitment to diversity means that we're not just doing it for show on the surface to manipulate dollars and create corporate accounts that allow us to see funds and revenues generated in order to expand our bottom line and enhance our portfolio. Deep diversity is about embracing the other as yourself. And when you embrace the other as yourself, that means that you understand that that person, Latino, Asian, Black, African American, Pacific Islander, when you think about that deep diversity that makes us who we are, That means that you understand that America from the very beginning has always had written into its informal constitution a recognition that stitched together into the quilt of American democracy is the recognition that the different threads have been of different cultures and races and colors and intelligences and abilities sighted, and those who are not, those who have deeper sight than the physical, those who are other able. That's why we shift our language. We talk about cisgender. We wasn't talking about cisgender 5 years ago, at least I wasn't. Y'all might be more advanced, right? When we talk about trans, right? We weren't talking about that 5, 6 years ago, so be a little bit more sensitive to those who are trying to get their sea legs. Don't be all arrogant about it. Yes, this is the wokest of possibilities that we articulate, and as a result of you not being on the inside, therefore you are, no, we all learning. There's some stuff we doing right now we're going to be abhorrent, going to find abhorrent 6 years from now. I can't even believe in 2022 we were doing X, Y, and Z, supporting the Spurs over the Lakers. It's going to be remarkable. You're going to be regretful of that. Louise, you see what I'm saying? So that stuff you're doing now, you don't even know, so have grace so that we can learn and catch up. The learning curve is steep in America. Now there's some stuff we ought to already know. We can't get to trigonometry if we got to keep reteaching algebra. And I'm taking that on faith because I know nothing about either of them. 2 + 2 = 3. I know, that's what it is. And so, deep diversity is about embracing the remarkable proliferation of difference that is in our midst at every level. And so deep diversity means we ain't just doing it on the surface. We're going to get down into our accounts. What is our bottom line? We're not simply going to post a black square on Instagram. We're going to figure out how we can include more people in the circle of privilege within the context of our own corporations. Because people of color be supporting corporations more than anybody. I know y'all know that already. We are brand loyal. 4 billion, you said, right? Probably more than that. That's just what's on the record. That ain't under the table, another couple billion. I ain't gonna speak too much on that. It's law enforcement here today. I'm sure your Gucci bags are all real. Black market takes on new meaning. And so when we think about deep diversity, we think about the fact that these corporate structures you inhabit and inherit and perpetuate owe their livelihood to so many people who are loyal to you regardless. Or as the brothers and the sisters in the street say, irregardless. That's belt and suspender. We're going to hold them pants up. And so, deep diversity is understanding that the culture that we exist in would be nothing without the contributions of so many others. And so many of us, not just in terms of race, not just in terms of ethnicity, but the deep diversity of opinion, ideal, and ideology. We ought to exist in a culture that allows people to say what they got to say. But if your particular ideology rests upon denying other people opportunity, then we got a problem. Deep diversity is about having a truly open mind, not so open your brains fall out, but open enough to understand that there are differences of perspective. When I sent my kids to college, I said, look, if you study with folk and hang out with folk whose last name ends like yours, who look like you and smell like you and wash like you and don't wash like you, then you wasting your time and my money. They out my crib, now they old, but out of my house, but not out of my pocket. And I wouldn't have it any other way. If they weren't here, I'd be begging God for the opportunity to love them. Deep diversity then means that you and I appreciate what it means to be a citizen of this nation, but indeed a citizen of the world. Deep diversity is about understanding, if you are a corporate citizen, that the people whose consumption you encourage are also contributing to a culture that will either perpetuate a democracy that allows you to have a job and a corporate career that allows you to get revenue and remuneration because you respect the integrity of their identities. And so deep diversity is necessary to go beyond the surface, to go beyond what we see on eating different cultures' foods, although that's great. I had some great Mexican food last night. What up? They wouldn't give me my virgin margarita in the right glass, but I'm gonna still love them because I'm excluded from that community of drinkers. I'm stigmatized because I don't consume alcohol because I'm allergic. Otherwise, I would overconsume. But they had to mark me as different by getting a different glass. And so deep diversity is understanding that we are all participating in this broad spectrum of identities that allows us to sample the flavor and the power of our differences. Not simply what we eat, not what communities we adhere to and live in, but also the ideas that nourish us. But not only deep diversity, but expansive equity. That means we got to get beyond simply saying we're going to start at the same place and hook folk up. You are Latino and we have practices against you and now we're going to include you in. But you got to do more than that. Lyndon Baines Johnson said, look, if you're in a race, you can't just say we done restarted the race and we all equal now, because if you ain't had equal access and equal education and equal opportunity, how you going to have equal results? How you going to have equal outcomes? How you going to even be able to participate? If for 50 years, because you were Latino, you couldn't even get on the field, you can't be expected to compete at the same level. Now, that's despite the fact that all minoritized people I know, all communities I know, we come from, we say we got to be twice as good anyhow. Right? That's why I try to tell some of the young folk, I guess they even beyond millennials now. What do they call the younger ones? Generation Z? What's after them? Alpha. Got to start back over with the new alphabet. Alpha. God damn, we just got to Omega, but man, okay. So now, we tell younger folk, right, they look at us and they laugh, and you old people. Yeah, but we got old for a reason. We got game too. We can spit too. We don't even understand how y'all get women in your generation. Bitch, hoe, skeezer, slut, hood rat? What? How you even get a phone number like that? You see my man Herring spitting up here, we got game. We ain't got to grab it. Seek it. Procure it through your devotion. Understand as a human being what you have to do in order to be worthy of the recipient of emotion and support. So I tell young folk, y'all got to do it differently. Now, we ain't hating on y'all because y'all facing a whole bunch of stuff out here, but a lot of us were fighting for opportunities and possibilities for equity in an era when they didn't give us opportunity. I remember with my mama going from Detroit down to Alabama. We stopped in Tennessee, ironically where I now live. And we went in, they didn't want to stop because I kept saying, why can't we stop? Everybody else going to the restaurant now, you know, this is what? I'm born in 58, so this is around what, 63, 64. You know what was going on, you know what was popping. But I was a kid, I didn't know. Why can't we stop? Why we got chicken under the seat in a box? Why we got a mason jar, not to drink lemonade, to relieve ourselves? Why can't we stop? Everybody else is stopping. And so finally, because I was a persistent child, you can tell I was a problem. Huh? Why? Huh? Why? Why can't we? I didn't just start now. I was that way young. So we finally stopped at the restaurant. Me and my mama go in. Man said, we don't serve niggas in here. I asked my mama, what's a nigger? Now my mama, highly intelligent woman from Alabama, has got to explain to her 6, 7-year-old child what a nigger is. Right? She said, don't tell your daddy. Right? I didn't understand what that meant. Why not tell dad? Because if you tell daddy, then his manhood is at stake. Because now somebody insulting his family has to be challenged. And if he does that, living in a white supremacist culture, it could lead to lethal consequences for him. So better to be quiet and not say anything. But what is the price you pay for that trauma? What is the price you pay for suppressing that recognition? Now they say about young people, everything is trauma, and old people ain't nothing trauma. We got to come in the middle, right? Because in my generation, we didn't acknowledge it. Wasn't no self-care. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't get no spa treatment on the way to Selma. Although he could have used one. These Negroes are driving me crazy out here. These white folk, I have no idea what they are doing. I need some time by myself to listen to some Luther Vandross. Don't you remember? Come on, y'all. And y'all, come on. So when they opened his heart, when they opened his body, when they did an autopsy, when he was murdered in Memphis, when he was fighting for justice, for expanding equity in America, murdered him. Not just one white man, America took aim at him and then laid him on his back. And when they did the autopsy, at 39, they said he had the heart of a 63-year-old man. Now that's my age, so I hope that was pretty good. Damn. But at 39, the stress, the tension, the heartbreak, the death threats, the FBI won't even tell him that people are trying to kill him. This is the expansion of equity. This is the cost of it. For you to have Instagram and Twitter and to swipe right and left to get more Tinder. Otis Redding did say try a little Tenderness. Y'all don't, man, do y'all know who Otis Redding is? Sitting on the dock. Come on. Wait. Come on. Come on, man. You young people ain't got everything. And so the expansion of equity came at an enormous price. And now the opportunities we enjoy in corporate America must understand the revenue that you generate out of the disposable income of young minoritized communities came at a price. And the trauma we endure, and we see it around us now, we see folk out here still hating on folk because they're Jewish or because they're black or because they're gay. And you want to ask, why are you tripping? Like, does a gay person challenge you from being straight? If so, you know something about yourself. Why are you mad? If you know a gay singer is singing about a person who is of the same sex, that ain't got nothing to do with who you singing about or who you thinking about when he or she is singing. That's your business. Why is it that we're so challenged? I was in the black church about 3 years ago in Cleveland. I didn't mean to say where, but dadgummit, I already said it. Black woman came up to me, she said, "You know you're going to hell." I said, "Wow." I said, "Did Jesus tell you that?" Because I spoke to him this morning, he ain't said nothing about the flames. Right? Nothing. She said, don't be funny. Well, I am. I'm sorry. I have a sense of humor. She said, you know what I'm talking about. In church this morning, you said that God created gay people. I said, and you think I'm going to hell? You're clearly a polytheist. You think there's a God for straight people and one for gay? Either God created everybody or God ain't created nobody. Ain't no in between. What happened? An inferior God came on the second shift on Wednesday? God was like, you know, I need some self-care. And I need a break because these humans are really a trip. So the second God came on the afternoon shift from 3 to 11. I don't know if y'all ever worked that shift I had. And then that God said, I'm going to create somebody different. That's what they told black folk in the Bible. Y'all don't know that? That's what they told you. You inferior too. They told you what? You the son of who? Ham? They used to come to my house, tell me Ham was cursed. I said, I don't eat pork. Come on, man. Come on, man. Give me some. Come on. As a kid, you know that was dope. You know that was dope. They're trying to tell you a victim of white supremacy and you're going to turn around and be a homophobe? I mean, that's how it works. We have to expand equity. We have to have a sense of justice that drives a sense of all of us being able to experience a kind of equity. And equity ain't just equality. We're going to start at the same place. Equity means we got to compensate for the historic structures that disallowed the flourishing of human community in certain eras. We got to acknowledge that we put a limit on what folk could do. Now we got to understand a compensatory mechanism. So when people hear about affirmative action, my God, why do you people want stuff you didn't earn? I know you ain't talking. Unearned? Don't know if you know the history of whiteness in America. Y'all ain't worked for a whole long time. My people was working. Right? Brown and black people was working. Quote, red folk, native indigenous folk working. All of us working for free. We looking for overtime right now. Right? And reparations. You tripping on reparations? And when you understand that in America, we have not been benefited by the same advantages that some young white brothers and sisters who born on third base think they hit a triple. It's hard for many white brothers and sisters to hear the truth, but the thing is we got to share it in love. We ain't nasty, we ain't pointing no finger, but stop tripping. We're trying to say, Malcolm X said, imagine, don't ask me what I would do, you know, or what you would do if you were in my position. He said, don't ask me what I would do. He said, ask yourself what you would do if you were in my position. Now, I might do more than that, he said, but imagine what it might mean. This is what it takes, an imagination to say, I can't even imagine to be gay and to be having my back against the wall and to also have a culture that disallowed me to make a choice about my body. I know we got different religions. I'm an ordained Baptist minister for 41 years. But I think God is an atheist. God can't believe in this madness that we create down here. God is above all of this. And we too should accept the love ethic that is at the heart of the gospel and any religion. Deep equity, deep diversity, and expansive equity says we have to embrace all of our community to have a different outcome. And then finally, intersectional inclusion. That I've been hitting at that, but come on. We all in the same boat. How you gonna be mad at one group and your group, you want them to get ahead? And we've seen news reports recently of different groups fighting and bickering. We know that occurs. But at the end of the day, we have to have an intersectional analysis. What did Kimberly Crenshaw mean by that? That means that you can't just deal with race. You got to talk about class. You got to talk about sexual orientation. You got to talk about gender. You got to talk about color. The color struck America, right? My daddy was blue-black. You understand? From Albany, Georgia, not Albany. Albany, Georgia. And I was a yellow Negro. Well, I still am. Me, Drake, Steph Curry, Tommy Calvert. We're trying to bring yellow back, man. We've been in exile out here, man. What's up? I mean, Denzel's great, but can we get a yellow Negro finally back? Idris Elba, can we get some yellow Negroes too? But we're color struck in every community. Light, bright, almost white, celebrated. Dark as the park, with bark demonized. I saw my father demonized within his own community. And then I saw how non-black people treated him too. And how they assumed I was smarter because I had glasses and curly hair. Now I hope I was smart because I studied. Because I had a gift, not because I was yellow. And it's hard for yellow people to talk about light privilege in the same way as white folk talk about white privilege. But here we is, then we got to speak on it. Tell the truth. Intersectional means that we understand how all of this stuff is integrated. And if you are a member of this community, you must ultimately understand that we in the same boat. You in the same plane. If the plane go through turbulence, first class ain't got no better experience. Yes, we're in first class. Therefore, we're exempt from the turbulence that the folk in rows 17 through 50 are experiencing. No, all of y'all scared as hell, and the plane is shaking. In fact, in first class, you might be the first to go. Down safely. So, my point is, we in the same boat. We on the same ship, we on the same vessel. Intersectional inclusion means that we got to get folk in who deserve to be in and stop this litmus test of those who don't deserve to get in. And we do it to ourselves as much as it's done to us. It is amazing to me. I get letters all the time from white folk calling me out my name, calling me nigger this and nigger that. I finally had to write back to them, that's Dr. Nigger to you. I'm almost done, but that's Dr. Nigger to you, right? And that means that we understand in this country that we need each other. And that I'm teaching your kids, and you worried about me warping your kids. I am. I'm trying to warp them as much as I can because they've been warped so deeply, I want to de-warpify them and give them a sense of inclusion in a broader circle of American identity and human privilege. And so this intersectional inclusion allows us to understand how we love and nurture and support one another. And so, my friends, I'm glad to talk to you today. And I want you to remember deep diversity, expansive equity, and intersectional inclusion, because without that, corporate America won't thrive, individual communities won't thrive, the politics of our culture will be corrosive, and we will fail to nurture and love each other in the kind of humanity that should be our own. God bless you as you continue to thrive, continue to strive, and continue to make real the promises of this American country. I end with this poem by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Though much is taken, much abides. And though we are not now that strength which in old days moved earth and heaven, that which we are, one equal temper for heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will, to strive, to seek to find, and not to yield. Thank you so very much.